You are listening to the Lucha Central Podcast Network. And now, LuchaCentral.com presents Masks, Mats, and Mayhem.
I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
Welcome to another edition of Masks, Mats, and Mayhem. I'm your host, Justin Outlaw Harvey. You can find me on social media at JustinHarvey75. You can find the entire show on social media at MMMshow75. And you can find that dude, Byron, at Byron Fever.
Catch it.
Catch it. Look, we actually did it right this time.
Yeah.
That's the most excited I'm going to get this whole show because I don't have any notes today, Byron.
Well, not much has been going on, so there's not much to talk about.
Have you ever seen me do this show without some kind of note somewhere? Actually, I do have some notes. I have some notes from last week of stuff that I didn't get to.
I don't know if you did it. I haven't seen it. If you have, though, usually you have the paper and you.
I have one sheet of paper and it's from last week, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But first,
yeah.
Byron,
what?
I will let you tell me why I care about AEW versus New Japan Forbidden Door.
I don't know.
Why do I care about this thing?
I don't think you do, because
I don't
like things that are fun.
Is that crazy that I don't like? Look, the work rates weren't bad. Like, there was some excellent wrestling, but bro, that's not just everything, you know?
Yeah, I feel that we were talking about that last week, and my whole thing about Forbidden Door was that it was promoted, it was sold on the concept and the brands, not the matches or the people. And that's how it's been. Like, they just added 4 matches, plus after that they added a bunch of pre-show matches days before the thing, you know, like that's not how you actually promote a show if you're promoting the lineup. So, I mean, I think that with the uniqueness of it and the novelty of it being like the first time, you could do that. I think it's going to sell out. It's going to do numbers already. But I think it did all right. But I think the big thing behind all of that promotion, it may not have been on purpose. I'm sure they would have loved to have been promoting, I guess, CM Punk versus Tanahashi for a month and a half, 2 months, or whatever it was. But
promoting it with what? This is the repeated issue I keep having with AEW is like, okay, you tell me there's a match. That isn't promotion. Okay, right. I get it. There's a match. These guys are great wrestlers. WWE's got great wrestlers. Impact has great wrestlers. Like, NWA has great wrestlers. Tell me more than like, hey, here's a match. These people are great wrestlers. Okay. AAA has great wrestlers. We shit on them all the time because they can't follow a story for more than 3 weeks, right?
AAA is amazing. AAA can do no wrong. They're perfect in every way. Everything.
They're a lot better nowadays than they have been in the past.
Yeah,
when they can have shows. But that's a whole separate story.
But
I'm just talking about traditionally and historically, AAA has been kind of like, here's a really hot angle. You absolutely love it. It's gone 2 weeks later.
Yeah, I mean the thing about Forbidden Door to keep in mind, or that kind of once this was obvious, once it became apparent to me, or Tony was talking about it afterwards, AEW and New Japan were having their top names drop out as late as the day before the show.
I'm not faulting that.
I mean, like, what are you promoting when, like, the week before you find out like Kyle O'Reilly can't make it, and on top of that, you've already lost CM Punk, and then Samoa Joe's out, and then Bryan Danielson.
Bro, when Red Velvet fell off the card, I was destroyed.
She was on the card?
No, I'm kidding, but she's injured too. You might as well lump her in with everybody else. All right, so here's my question.
What was her last match? Was it against Marina Shafir? Because Sky Blue was supposed to have a match at House of Republic.
Oh, Marina Shafir.
And then it turns out
really want
Marina
me to go
Shafir
there?
actually hurt her a couple weeks ago.
Do you really want me to go there? Does like anybody still believe that Marina Shafir is not the problem? Because I know that's her catchphrase, but she's the problem. You guys.
I read a hot take today that that Thunder Rosa sandbagged her because the week before Marina like bent Sky Blue in the shape of a scorpion, not on purpose. Like she put Sky Blue on the shelf and apparently Thunder Rosa liked working the indies with Sky Blue.
I get it, but like I get what they're trying to do with her or whatever, but like go back and look at Shayna Baszler in NXT.
Yeah.
It worked great because she did 20% that like sloughing it off hardcore MMA style, and then the other 80% was like running the ropes and leapfrog, drop toe.
Shayna Baszler never ran the ropes.
Yeah, she did. Even in NXT, she did. Not a lot. I'm not saying a lot, but when was the last time you saw Marina Shafir do it at all without like a forceful whip that you couldn't do anything else with?
Yeah, no, but I mean, yeah, to your point, Shayna Baszler went in and was a pro wrestler who did some MMA stuff.
And now look at her. Like, I hated her and Natalya teamed up together or whatever, but
yeah,
it was really good for Shayna Baszler. Natalya is, I don't care what you think about her character and her presentation on TV. She certainly knows what the hell she's doing. She certainly knows how to lay out and agent a match for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason that she's been around for as long as she's been around. There's a reason that she did a program, one of the early programs with Ronda Rousey, I mean,
right.
You're not going to take away
her resume. It worked better with Shayna than Ronda because Shayna spent that time in NXT. That is what Marina Shafir is not having right now. I don't care how many times you put her on Dark. Like, there's giving development. There's putting people on Dark to see if they'll be good talent. And then there's actually developing talent. You know what I mean? And the WWE has a better system for that for them. I'm not saying I like the way that they create all their stars. I'm just saying they have an actual program to create stars. AEW has nothing like that to me. Like, they have people that are coming out of wrestling schools. They're going on Dark and Elevation. They're getting some time in, but that is not the same as a program.
I would say this to that. AEW is built more, ironically enough, for people like Joey Janela. For if you're not working your own angles, you're conducting your own business. Like you're operating your own business in a smart way. You're booking matches, you're doing stuff, you're bettering yourself. You're doing these things on your own, on top of, it's supplementing. You're supplementing your AEW thing, which, you're getting a TV taping exposure, and you're getting those resources, and you're getting at least one day you get to train with Dustin Rhodes before a TV taping or something, or you're doing the William Regal whatever.
Right, like I
before.
don't see half these guys out on the indies. Like, look at Thunder Rosa's schedule. Yeah, she's still wrestling all over the place, and she's a freaking champ in AEW. She could just sit back and take her AEW check. I don't think she's doing $300 nights at the fucking, gymnasium for money at this point. I think she's doing it because she wants to stay in the scene. She wants to stay relevant. She's, and I'm sure she's probably getting better paydays than that. I'm kidding, but I'm saying, like, she's still putting in the work to keep herself out there. She still conducts herself like she conducts herself as if she's three different things, as if she's a champion at AEW and that TV is her number one priority and making AEW happy is her number one priority, but also that she's a top-rated indie talent out there and she's taking bookings and dates. And there's other people who, Cardona's schedule was crazy. And, I mean, like, that guy was everywhere for at least 4 solid months, like everywhere. It was crazy.
Yeah, Matt Cardona was a funny example, funny thing for me because he showed what he's showing now way back in the day with the Z Long Island store, whatever it was. Like he got himself over and he was doing it in ways that no one else was doing it and all that. But I wasn't sure if he still had it in him. And then but then he did. And he's out there doing death matches and all that stuff. But I brought up the Joey Janela thing because I watched the after show presser for AEW, which is funny.
This is the best name ever.
I take offense to it.
Wow. Byron, does that make your crotch itch?
Is one Ketamine Hitler is asking what we're all talking about, but I think we have more questions for you than the other way around. Are those the two parts of your name? Is one like literal and one less literal? Or are they both?
I don't know, but I think that is a bold, strong choice, and I support bold, strong choices.
Are you a Hitler?
We're talking about how would that? Okay, so and we're going to talk about Forbidden Door, but you're talking about Janela.
Yeah. So,
and I was still talking about Thunder Rosa, but go ahead.
Yeah. And after a media presser, someone asked a question Tony was talking about, I believe Jericho and Eddie Kingston. And it's just funny.
You're jumping all the way to the presser. We haven't even talked about the pay-per-view yet.
No, because I mentioned Joey Janela because it's funny because it's not like Tony has a hard on for Joey Janela or for this or anything, but like out of nowhere, like he's talking about it. Then he brings up how that makes sense. Ketamine Hitler's.
I don't know which one is which.
I picked one good thing, one bad thing. We'll leave it at that.
Amazing. Yes, and Janela, finish your story. You can't.
So Tony's telling the story, and then he goes, "Yeah, we tried to start it back in January, but when Joey broke Eddie's face, we had to, push it back." Blah 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 blah. And it's just like he knew, like on the day when Joey ruined those plans and pushed that whole storyline till Eddie's face healed, and like that grudge is held. It was just funny because he's very like. He knows it's not like he moved on from it. He probably still thinks of it every day. Joey Janela, right before Eddie was supposed to start a feud with Jericho, the program pushed the whole thing. Anyway,
okay. Let me get back to the New Japan thing. Even though I was going to say more about Thunder Rosa, but she's friggin' great.
I do want to say everybody wish Casey a happy birthday at Lucha Gringo.
It's Kevin Kleinrock's birthday today, our overlord. How are you going to wish Casey a happy birthday? It's not even his actual birthday, and it is actually Kevin Kleinrock's birthday.
We don't have a banner for Kevin Kleinrock.
Oh, well, he should pay for one then.
Yeah. Get the graphics department on it, Kleinrock, please. Who is Casey? That's a great question.
No, you're getting the gimmick wrong. It's Where's Casey?
Thank you, Mr. Dark Ace. Happy birthday to me, too.
No, our birthday is the same day. Kevin and Casey's birthday is not. Listen, Byron, here's my question for you.
Are we getting back on topic?
I'm going back to the original question I had for you. Give me some high points. What is this Forbidden Door thing about? Look, we ran a poll. A poll on the tweet machine. And let me look at the results here because they were, I don't know, somewhat disappointing. Is that the correct way to say that?
Oh my God.
Do I even have these results here? I don't. Okay. Anyway, we ran a poll and we wanted to know if people thought that Forbidden Door was good or
it was excellent,
average,
good, bad,
or
yeah.
Okay, I guess I should just read the actual question because my memory's terrible. What did you think of AEW versus New Japan Forbidden Door? Did AEW nail this one or not? So 60.8% of the people voted excellent pay-per-view. 9.8% voted just average. 7.8% voted sucked ass. And 21.6% voted didn't watch. No, I voted just average. I did not vote sucked ass.
I voted excellent. Like J-Man said, my vote would have been in between the top two. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it could have been a lot better. And I hope the next round will be a lot better with organized and promoted matches and stories. But I think the big thing about Forbidden Door, the big picture thing that was a huge success and made it super, super fun, is that after how many years we finally saw New Japan talent in front of crowds I could cheer.
Okay, and I get that. The crowd was excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. I that was one of my takeaways from the show, that I said that the crowd was one of the things that deserved a standing ovation. Okay. Good crowds help. They help shows. But I still have some issues with, like, what was this? This was basically just a super fun night of fantasy booking, because all the finishes were exactly what you'd expect.
Right.
I mean, FTR is the only one walking out of there, but that's not that big a deal to me for them to have the New Japan tag titles.
No, FTR, they're doing a great thing, and hopefully they will get to work in all the territories for all their belts too. But I mean, there weren't any big interpromotional storylines, so like it was all political, and it's basically a bunch of exhibition matches, and that's still cool for what it is. It's like, it's a novelty. Maybe they don't have to give it all away right now, on top of the fact that they couldn't, and like, there, with rumors that Hangman was supposed to be in the G1, but there's too many top of the card AEW stars on the shelf right now. It's like they're depleted, and New Japan is depleted. And where was Naito? How come Naito wasn't there? There's a lot left on the table, and hopefully we get a Forbidden Door 2 sooner rather than later. I don't want to wait a whole year. I don't want it to be next month, but it'd be great to have it.
I think you're going to have to wait a whole year. I don't think they're going to come in winter, and everything else is lined up for the year.
Well, I mean, maybe 6 months. I don't know, but I'm just saying, I want them to do it again. The next one should be, or maybe in 6 months you do one in Japan. You trade 6 months here, 6 months there. I really had
high hopes that maybe they would do some more belt trading beyond, just the FTR.
Yeah.
And then just, you just have a star stick around for a couple of weeks and drop it back, or then you send a guy over to Japan and have them drop it back. Like, it's not like a big deal. You don't hold it up. But I really thought that Tana getting the interim belt would have been the right call. I get why they did Moxley. I understand it, but I mean, it was so telegraphed that I was almost like, it's gotta go to Tana, right?
Oh, and is that the match?
And then you still get CM Punk, Tanahashi down the road. Like, you get your match back that you didn't have.
Here's something. I thought it was Will Ospreay and Andrade, but Mr. Dark Ace 28 is saying Naito was supposed to wrestle Andrade. I know Andrade was supposed to go over to Japan and start working angles. That would also be dope. Andrade and Ospreay, Andrade and Naito.
Yeah, but it's never gonna happen while he's got his. And the weird thing is, he doesn't even have a full contract with AAA. But it still precludes him from doing stuff with New Japan.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of the specifics on this one was he was booked on the day of Forbidden Door for AAA when they were making the plans or something. And
but I don't even think it's just that. I think that CMLL has a clause that if for their relationship to keep existing with New Japan, if anybody who is currently wrestling for AAA under a AAA contract can't appear on New Japan, which is really weird because lots of AEW guys have these loose, appearance contracts with AAA. And that's all Andrade really has, as far as I know. I don't think he doesn't have a primary contract like Phoenix and Penta have. Their primary contracts are still with AAA.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I don't know the politics of all that. But I do think that this show came up relatively quickly as well. So with regards to big company plans with their belts, and then you factor in the light rosters both of them have, it just did not give them room to hot shot title changes, to hot shot things. Like it would have been great. I'm sure they were all at one point open to, like, if you're gonna send Hangman over for the G1, I'm sure you could do something where Tana is the AEW champ, or Hangman or Adam Cole could win the IWGP for like 2 months and then go work in Japan with it, under the AEW banner. But both companies, just, they're stretched too thin, and they haven't had enough time to plan it out so it makes sense yet.
Right.
So,
all right, but so here's my other issue, and then I'll talk about some of the actual matches. But my other issue is the packages. It was like, okay, here you've got Orange Cassidy and Ospreay, right? Match was great, right? You've got storyline drama going on with Ospreay. He's showing up with the Rev Pro belt, which is not his actual belt, correct?
That is his belt.
And I'm asking because you watch. I know, but he's the Rev Pro champ, but he's also the
U.S. title. Yeah. So it's a weird.
He's also the U.S. title because the big title is Intercontinental in heavyweight now, right? So the U.S. is the other one, and he's got. Okay, so here's my whole thing. We're sitting here talking about it, and it's unclear. We both just watched a pay-per-view, and this belt was on the line. I don't care if it's from another promotion or not. Right. Give me a fucking package. Get some highlights from New Japan, or build some backstage stuff going on. Explain to me that it matters that Ospreay is coming out here with this other belt from England because some dickhead is holding on to his and won't give it to him. And who's got his belt right now?
Juice. Rock hard Juice Robinson.
Which is awesome. And I don't know why we didn't get him on the card somewhere.
He had a promo. That's a
because he's doing the Impact thing still, or what? Is he still doing Impact stuff?
I don't know. No, he has. But he has a whole new gimmick, a whole new thing, and he was going to quit wrestling, and then he came back and beat Mox and Ospreay. And
right. Anyway, my whole point is, see, you're somebody. I watch New Japan 5-6 times a year. I catch up on some stuff. I'll sit down, watch 20-30 hours, whatever. Love it. It's great. But I don't keep up with it week to week, and I'm a wrestling fan. So here's what I'm saying. Tony assumed that everyone knew who all these people were. And yes, I know who these people are, but I don't know what their current storylines are. I don't know where they're at in their careers. Give me something. Like, there's fans in that audience that I guarantee thought Okada was still the champ. Like, people don't know. No, you give me a package at least. Explain who Will Ospreay is, why he's important, and why he doesn't have his own damn belt, and why him putting up a belt that he doesn't even have physical possession of is a thing. Like, you can't tell me there wasn't 5 minutes somewhere in some of that god-awful TV the last couple of weeks where they could have done that, because that match stuck. They knew they were doing that match 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, to me, I think that's a New Japan thing, and I'm not quite sure. And it's one of those wait and see things I'm doing with them. With the US thing, it's weird, but in a way, it makes me more curious. But it's patient storytelling, I hope. But it's a weird thing because there's supposed to be a 3-way for the belt with Ospreay and
Darkface got all the goods. Says the big New Japan storyline that's happening right now. It's Bullet Club.
Yeah, Bullet Club is getting revitalized, and it's doing pretty well. And then it was Sonata, I believe, and Juice, and I think, I don't know. I was watching in the middle,
and
of the
I
night.
appreciate that, but
see, I don't get why Juice says he has appendicitis and no showed, so they stripped him of the belt, but he's holding on to it, and there's a thing, but they're not really explaining the conflict. Like Juice, in the one promo he had at Forbidden Door, and in any subsequent New Japan stuff that I've seen, hasn't said anything to the extent of "fuck you guys, this is my belt." And
remember when
Ospreay
Lucha Underground did that thing with Impact or whatever. And it was at the WrestleCon weekend or whatever that was. Remember that?
Yeah.
That's what this felt like. Booking wise and storytelling wise, of like, crap, we're just going to put the show together and it's really just for the show.
I think that's
and like,
fine.
You can't give me any storylines about it? I don't know, man. I don't know.
I
get it, but all right. So let's talk about the good.
But you're telling me that Mox and Tana wasn't a big storyline. That was a huge match, huge storyline, hyped up so much. That was in the making before AEW even existed.
I get it, but okay.
That's the main event.
You can't put together some clips that stress how much Moxley has always wanted to get his hands on Tanahashi.
They did. They ran a promo for that. And Tana had this great bit in it where he said, I didn't wait this long to have a match.
And that was okay.
Moxley. It took this long for Moxley to get up to my level to have this match.
I get it. And that was decent. And that's also part of why that was the headlining match. Okay. I'm not saying that wasn't terrible. I just still feel like there could have been more to it and more of those things to let us know why these matches on this pay-per-view made sense. You know, who some of the factions were in New Japan, and poor Excalibur, God bless him. He was trying, man. But then you get JR slobber knocker in all over. And the fact that they brought JR in for the second half of the pay-per-view was like, oh God, couldn't you have put him on the first half? Jesus Christ, why is he out? Like, and he was the American commentator for New Japan for like 3 years when it was on Access. Him and Josh Barnett. It's like, it's not that JR doesn't know New Japan wrestling, because he does. He's just terrible now in general.
Yeah, but I think it's funny enough, though. I think JR is better than anyone except Excalibur at getting over New Japan talent, because he's announced them, he's commentated on them, done play-by-play, whatever, for so long with them. He knows Will Ospreay. He knows he's Tanahashi. He knows they're big stars. Shivani, for as good as he's doing now, doesn't know.
Well, he wasn't on the pay-per-view because of it.
Yeah, but I think they kept JR for half the show so he doesn't get tired and cranky. Kevin Kelly was there as well, who was super, super cool. And then you had Chris Charlton.
At the pay-per-view, Kevin Kelly was great. I was more talking about poor Excalibur, especially on Dynamite, having to try to explain what was going on with Shivani shitting all over it and JR just kind of mumble fucking through the whole thing. And it was just a clusterfuck. All right. So we already mentioned those two matches. What was the match of the night? Was it Tana and Mox because of all the buildup? Was it Ospreay and Cassidy because they're the young studs? What was it? What was the match of the night?
Okay.
Was it whatever Max Caster did?
Max Caster was awesome.
Always.
So he's just the best.
It's just entertaining.
Yeah. And then, Ospreay and Orange had a really good match, but then with Shibata, his stuff at the end, that made it extra special. You can't really, you can't say anything bad about Keith Lee and Swerve against Suzuki-gun.
What do you mean I can't? Of course I can.
That match is so really good. It was great. And everyone looked great. I wish Tai Chi was on the show. There's so much left on the table. But it was good. It was also like high energy. The main event picked up and was going somewhere until the injury.
I'm going to agree with Darkface here too. I popped when Shibata came out.
Yeah.
I'm sure Byron popped when Shibata came out.
Yeah, Shibata.
And I'm sure most of the crowd in Chicago popped when Shibata came out. But average viewers, did they get it?
Well,
does it matter if they got it or not?
The people who are buying the AEW pay-per-view that's advertised with New Japan know who Shibata is, and they've seen him in Ring of Honor before. And the casuals are gonna figure it out. Or I've seen some posts on Reddit who are like, "Oh, I can't believe Shibata's 42 or whatever." Like, blah blah blah. Then people, run down the list of matches for him. Like, they made some new fans, but by and large, like, you've seen a lot of these guys work Ring of Honor before Ring of Honor turned into All Out or All In.
Clearly, also the hard cam is on the other side in New Japan, right? Because I feel like we talked about this some last week too. When they did the Shibata bit, like Orange is kind of like, it's over there, buddy. Trying to.
They don't work.
I feel like that happened a lot of times. They were trying to signal like where the hard cam was for the Japanese talent.
They don't work. It's a whole different philosophy in the presentation, and I like it a lot the way they do it. And it works because the cameras pick them up like it's a sporting event, but they don't work hard cams. They don't really work unless it's like Okada doing the Rainmaker pullout,
Right.
It's not really a big gimmick for them. The cameras find them, which, kind of like early Cody promos or whatever in AEW, which, but yeah.
Why didn't we get some Kazuchika bucks out of the sky, man? I was expecting it to rain in the United Center.
It's they're saving it for the next one because he wasn't.
He only
does
that when he's a champion too, right? He hasn't done that since does he do that on matches now where he's not the champ? I don't know if I've seen it in a while.
Maybe if it's a big pay-per-view type match. Just some, I'm sure we all know, but Darkface 28 is just reminding us Shibata had that scary head injury. No, he had that title match against Okada, and he was really beginning to work his way up into a pillar spot, a top 4 spot. And he was doing great. It was his spot for the taking, but he was doing a shoot headbutt, which you could hear the thud in the middle of the match, in every match. And then he would do it, and then he would get the trickle of blood, and it looked super badass. But he was giving himself brain damage.
It's also you're concussing your fucking brain and hemorrhaging.
Yeah, and so he did that in the Okada match. The Okada match was fantastic, but it's hard to watch because Shibata can barely, the stubbornness of wrestlers that they want to leave on their own power. He could barely stumble out of the arena, to backstage, and then he collapsed afterwards, and then he had to get the brain surgery. And his next appearance was basically showing up, I don't know, a year or so later. I was watching the show live when he came out, and I just lost my mind at like 3 or 4 in the morning. He comes out and says, "I'm alive. That's all." And then he took a back bump.
Of course.
But yeah, but he's looking good. He's moving good.
Intelligence when it comes to protecting themselves at certain points in time.
Hopefully he's good to go now.
I popped for a lot of that stuff. All right, so let's talk about the one other major thing that we have not discussed on
the
this
women's
show.
title.
No, the new member. We'll talk about the women's title in a minute too, but the new member of the Blackpool Combat Club.
Yes.
Also known as Claudio
something. It was pronounced a few different ways on the show. Yeah, I mean that was
go with Shivani on that pronunciation.
That was a highlight, if not the highlight of the show, besides the AEW title match.
No, and here's the funny thing. So when he left WWE, he left at kind of the same weird level that Mox left WWE with. Yet I gotta tell you, I was more excited about Claudio coming in.
Mm-hmm.
I actually feel like he's a better fit in AEW than Mox even is. I really do. Because I feel like he can work up and down the card better than Mox. I feel like his ability to get into storylines in a serious fashion, as opposed to what he was doing in WWE a lot of the time. Like, I feel like he could just jump in and be a good foil for anybody on the roster.
Absolutely. He's, I mean, for someone who in WWE just, and they did try, maybe not as well as they could, or maybe not executed as well as they could, but they tried to make money off of him. But he just didn't fit. He couldn't, they couldn't find a way to have him be used in their
they have
machine.
This problem with many guys.
But you come to AEW, like he has. I mean, he's coming in. I would compare him more to Bryan Danielson, because Mox, you know, I mean, Mox isn't coming in as CZW Mox. He's using the name, but he's not John Moxley before WWE. He's not, and he had a reputation and a resume beforehand, but he's not coming in. He's coming in as WWE John Moxley, doing what he wanted to do, which is phenomenal. But also, like, he was on the mountaintop in WWE in a variety of ways.
Oh yeah,
for a long time. So it's not he's coming in to be on top. The way that it's new is the way he wants to do it. And Claudio, there's a lot left on the table as far as being the top star on a TV wrestling show. Now,
I feel like Claudio's going to get what he always wanted over there, which was he just wants to work and be taken seriously.
Right.
I don't think he's going to mind being in the mid card. I don't think he's coming to AEW because he wants to collect belts or anything crazy. I think he's just showing up because he wants good matches. He wants to work with good people.
Yeah.
You know, and that he can go off and actually present it that way now instead of this thing at WWE where he was in Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin land and even KO now, where it's like, and KO does all right with it, and Seth Rollins even does all right with it when he comes up and down out of the mid card. But the whole thing at WWE is to be that successful mid card guy, you have to be able to go ham in the mid card with your presentation. Like Seth is doing it and can keep his heat. Becky's doing it right now.
Got to keep your legitimacy.
But also
it's hard.
Like Seth Rollins took 3 losses in a row to Cody Rhodes, who is not as good a wrestler. As much as I love Cody, he's not the wrestler that Seth is. No. He jobbed to Cody 3 times on pay-per-view and numerous times on weekly shows and catching beatdowns and never lost his heat for a second. That's what you have to be able to do. And KO's been doing that with his Ezekiel thing or whatever.
Yeah, but so like Claudio and Will Regal.
But Claudio's not going to have to do that now.
No, and Will Regal pointed this out. Darkface 28, Mr. Darkface 28 is pointing this out too. Claudio has physique, can speak 4 languages, damn good pro wrestler. Claudio, I would draw the comparison to Bryan Danielson over Mox because they are just fantastic representatives of your company. Being backstage, they're going to help everyone else. Danielson and Regal are doing, and probably Claudio now are doing those classes every day, or every Wednesday before Dynamite, you know. But they can also go and represent you around the world with integrity and legitimacy. But also with Bryan Danielson, Claudio again, you know, comes in as someone. He's coming in with his like Ring of Honor credentials, Ring of Honor style, and you're like, he's gonna kick ass like when he was king of wrestling or something. But also he doesn't need storylines. But he has.
Yeah, I think that's the best part. That
because
he's like not going to get him in AEW,
right? But like Bryan Danielson and him, it's like the Fit Finlay. I like to fight. I want to fight. And you know, Zack Sabre Jr. before the match, before the announcement, he was in the ring. You could tell how excited he was. And he was going to get his ass kicked. He was going to lose on this big show. And he was thrilled as ever. And I think Claudio, to an extent, shares that energy. Like, if he's going to get this big match and be able to wrestle a match that pays respect to the art of professional wrestling,
look,
like
I've always
he'll be happy with it.
That level of guy on the card when they're good. The Lance Storms, the Fit Finleys, the Bob Hollies, even Dean Malenko to a certain extent, even though he was cruiser and smaller, but you knew that he was just going to come out and brawl, and you didn't care if he won or lost or whatever. I feel that way about Claudio, so I'm excited for the guy. Yeah, and I think it is I'm surprised because I knew a couple weeks ago that it was most likely him, and when I first heard that, I was kind of like, meh. But of course, I'm thinking back to Ring of Honor and other stuff, but at the same time, I'm thinking, man, WWE, and he's older now, and like I did just see him in WWE, and he looks like he could still go. And then I was also just pissed because it was like, oh my God, this guy knocked out his fucking teeth for you, WWE. You couldn't find another fucking $800,000 in the fucking kitty to keep this guy around?
I don't think it was money.
You think he really wanted to go and play with the boys? Maybe. I mean, the stuff they were doing with him was dreadful. I mean, it was just like, come out, job, get this program for 3 weeks. We're going to switch it. Every time they told him something was going to happen, it didn't happen.
Cesaro section, like Rusev Day, like fucking Zack Ryder. Like it's a common trend here.
I'm more excited about Cesaro than Miro, by the way. Like I think Miro is a bust at this point. Like I just don't know what you can do with Miro on this type of roster because he needs to be a monster. And there's no room for another monster on this card. The monsters need to be the new guys. I don't know what you do with Miro at this point. I really don't.
I mean, I'm not quite sure what Miro's doing, but in a way that I'm excited that he's back, and I'm excited to see what he's doing. He had a phenomenal. Who do
you put him in a program with? Not that AEW really does programs, but who would you put Miro in a program?
Well, I mean,
right now,
I think Miro's been in all honesty. I liked his match. I liked the match they had for the All Atlantic and Pac winning. Awesome, and they gave Clark Connors a ton of stuff.
Can't wait. First of all, Clark fucking Connors, bravo. I felt so bad for the guy coming into that match because 17,000 people all looked at the entranceway and said, who?
Like
who? I mean, it sounded like a New Day chant started breaking out because nobody had any clue who the fuck he was.
Everyone would have been happy with Ishii, but no one would expect him to win that match whatsoever. And now you're bringing in a replacement, which is supposed to be the jobber that he beat to get that spot. It's
right.
So anticlimactic, and they did great by him.
You couldn't be more set up for failure in a match than that poor kid was.
Yeah.
Like nobody cares that you're there. And bro, it wasn't 5 minutes into that match and he won that tough ass Chicago crowd over.
Miro gave him the table spot outside the ring. That was the last guy I thought was taking it.
He better fucking shake Miro's hand and thank him for the house then, because that kid, I mean, he had a banner day.
Yeah.
And and he made the match better. I mean, I enjoyed him being in the match. I was like, oh, wow, this guy he absolutely deserves to be here work rate wise.
Got his near falls.
He did. And he followed the old guys and did what they wanted. And they gave him some stuff and they let him get his shit in. And God bless them for being smart workers too. I'm still a little conflicted about Pac having this title. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like Miro or Malachi or Pentagon, for that matter, of the field that came into this would have been better choices for the company. Like I like Pac having the belt, but I don't know that it does much for AEW.
I think it can. I think there might. I'm hoping there's some sort of plan. Like when Mox won the world belt right before COVID, there were plans for him to go all over and defend it and showcase it all over the world in all the different places Mox was getting booked. And I think he was going to go to Japan with it. It was part of the whole thing. And AEW has too many belts already. And so Pac also,
I don't feel like they do though. I've heard that a lot, but man, with like the 90-person roster that they have, I don't feel like
not the
belts
roster
are
for the TV time.
If anything though, there's too many belts because they don't get them on TV enough.
Yeah,
I don't feel like the belts themselves are overexposed or that I'm seeing certain programs or too many belt programs on an episode. But whatever.
It's not enough hours of TV for the roster and for the belts. But yeah, I mean, for the roster, it's so huge. But I think you have that, and you also have Pac, who it still lives so far away across the ocean. I think it helps where he can do a stretch of tapings or dynamites and then go home and work other shows, other companies that are working with AEW and bringing the belt and promoting AEW.
I think Darkface has a good point here that he had Black winning, but Pac was his second choice.
Yeah.
Because he's been there since day one and deserves it for his hard work and his loyalty alone. And you know what? Here's the thing. we should have all known it was going to be him because of that, because that is how Tony Khan works in a lot of ways. It's one of the reasons why Moxley is this interim champion right now. No, that wasn't the plan. It was not a plan to have the belt back on Mox anytime soon, but Mox is his guy in that regards. Like, Mox has been loyal. He did his time, and he fixed all his personal issues. And I think he wanted to reward him for the hard work he's been putting in and give him some, good reasons to stick around longer and keep putting in hard work. And I think that Tony Khan is actually a good dude for doing that, because a lot of times I don't know that that's what's best for business. But he doesn't book like Vince. He doesn't do what's best for business.
But Tony Khan also looks at Mox as probably the best option for what he was trying to do with Punk and Tanahashi and Punk's reign, and like it's so I also think rewarding him, but also he thinks Jon Moxley is the best wrestler in the world. I mean, that's also hyperbole.
So here's my next question for you, Byron.
But also by the way, Pac was, speaking of day one, Pac was one of the guys in the mix for the world title at the beginning. It's not that he was just a day one guy and then COVID and visas, or I don't know, plane rides got in the way. But he was always supposed to be Kenny Omega caliber,
And he's just a little Paquito height wise.
He can't be on the show consistent. He hasn't been able to be on the show consistent enough, which is funny to say on a show that can't consistently get time for its stars.
All right. So the last thing for the pay-per-view I want to talk about.
Yeah.
The women's championship, Thunder Rosa versus Toni Storm. I thought Toni Storm was going to get put over here. I like that they kept the belt on Thunder Rosa though.
Yeah.
I'm very happy about that. And it was weird because when you heard Tony kind of talking about it after in the media scrum, and even Thunder Rosa a little bit, it was kind of like, yeah, Toni Storm was just an afterthought. Like, we thought she's a good wrestler, so we put her in there real quick. Like, it does not sound like there was and maybe that's just them working it a little bit, but
yeah, I think something's up. There's a bunch of different angles on this that are a little weird to me. Like, number one, the whole thing kind of felt like when the match before Thunder Rosa won the belt, when she had a title shot on a super stacked card, and they just did a quick, almost throwaway title defense win over her. She didn't get it. And it was like, oh, but I thought she was supposed to. But there were like 15 other co-main events, and like I could see, that for this, like get the belt and your stars on the card out of respect, even though it's going to be super women-like because New Japan doesn't offer that. If they could do Forbidden Door with New Japan and Stardom or Tokyo Joshi Pro, then you could fill out the undercard with more women's matches.
And I didn't even know if this match, like, I knew this match was coming, but I don't know if I knew before the buy-in show that this match was actually even on the pay-per-view. I thought it might be at Blood and Guts next week.
I mean, yeah.
Which I also don't entirely understand why they're doing a semi-premium event the week right after a pay-per-view.
It's because Forbidden Door got shoehorned in the best it could as soon as it could. And that's also why, like, they didn't have a lot of big long-term stories.
But they knew about Forbidden Door before the. I mean, maybe this is just to reset storylines and go where they were already going to go.
Two other things that really got me about the women's title match. One, it felt like it was 5 minutes long. It felt like it should have gone at least 20. It did not feel like a full match at all, especially considering where it was, where every match after it felt really long, and it felt like they had all the different acts and stages of a match.
I gotta say, I honestly believe that that's the right call. And this is no slight on Thunder Rosa, but after the Shafir thing and a couple other things that are going on in the women's division, I don't think, like, if you had Thunder Rosa versus Deeb on this card, sure, let them go 20 minutes. But I don't think with something that you haven't vetted more thoroughly as a match with two people that are really working well together when you've got all these other guys that a ton of them have worked with each other for a decade. A lot of them are the top guys in the entire world. It's like, I don't think you put a 15-minute women's match out there and potentially risk exposing your talent if it's not, through the roof stellar. And don't get me wrong, I think that both of those two are more than capable of having that match, but I don't know that their first match on pay-per-view for a title was ever intended to be that, and it would do them a disservice to try to make them go long and force some magic, which that, like I said, they're both fully capable of doing, but I don't think you book it that way. I think that was the right amount of time to book that for.
We were talking about, I wanted more. And I hope so. That's why I felt like the other one.
But that's good if it left you wanting more, is what I'm saying. That's a good. I think that's the best response you could have from that. And I'm hoping, there's more of a program. So that's exactly what they're going for.
We were talking about a couple weeks ago when we were also like it's not a Forbidden Door match on a Forbidden Door show, so, especially in the as one of the co-main events, because it was a title shot. It did feel a little bit off-brand and out of place, but I was really looking forward to it. But we were talking about how we thought, okay, well, Tony has momentum, Tony's a big star, and Thunder had a bit of a run, but it feels like Tony is going to get it, and we're going to ride that horse now. And but then we were trying to figure out, but in doing that, can they still work a program? Is this going to be a better match, or is this going to be a better program than Thunder Rosa and Britt? And there really wasn't that kind of promotion going into it, like with everything else.
And that's smart. And hopefully it is Tony long-term booking, because this was a babyface versus babyface match, first of all,
right?
Which is not very good for business in general. And if you are going to build something out of the two of them and take a longer road, I think there's a lot of ways to do that, because they're both baby faces. They don't have to go head to head and be, challenging each other every single time. You do a whole lot of those moments, like Tony picking up the belt and, or is she going to swerve her, this, that, and the other thing, until eventually you find a reason for there to be more animosity between the two of them. And maybe you turn one of the other ones. What up, Rebecca? So
you need conflict somehow. And when NXT back in its golden days did Pac or Neville and Sami Zayn, they both are faces, and then you had Pac kind of going heel a little bit because he was a champ who knew how to do what it took to win. But it wasn't a directly personal thing with him and Sami. The conflict leading up to it was Sami and himself. Was he going to do those? Was he going to compromise his values,
right,
to win? And they did the whole thing. Like, that whole gimmick has already been redone in matches since then.
And I don't even think I don't know that they even have to go that far, because I think they have some exciting stuff in the division.
Yeah, it's just an example. If you don't want to have personal one-on-one conflict, you can still have something that you're interested, something that raises questions, and you want to see what happens.
All right, so
but one more thing about that match, which stood out to me, and Casey and a couple other friends were over watching, and Casey and I
Tony's
saw right
really
off the bat,
shallow suplexes.
I saw someone tweet that Thunder was
Meef was talking about it last week.
That Thunder was sandbagging Tony's Germans, and it's like, I haven't.
No, Tony is infamous for throwing these really low, shallow Germans. That's the way she always throws. I
haven't seen her bridge on a German since she got the AEW or ever, right? But also, like, Mox those Germans kind of like that too.
I mean, Tony throws zero elevation Germans.
But there was a German on the apron where basically she just dropped Thunder Rosa on her own face. Just the hardest part of the ring, Tony Storm's face. But one thing that stood out to me the most, that kind of colors in my opinion of the whole ordeal, was that both Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm looked really, like, for real, not really, but like, shoot, upset like tears in the eyes in the ring before the match. And like at first Tony comes out and Casey and I look at each other and go, oh, she's gonna lose unless she's like trying to throw us off, but she's coming out here like she's gonna lose the big match that she was supposed to win. And then Thunder comes out, same look in her eyes. We're like, oh man. So that's why I think like 10 minutes or whatever, 15 minutes, the match they wanted to have got taken away from them last minute is what I think happened.
Okay. I heard some other rumors that I cannot really confirm either, that some other moments got taken away from them where they wanted to comment on a certain court's ruling or make some kinds of statements thereof. And that was not really something that the parent company was interested in.
Yeah. Okay. That would make more sense. I mean, that would be something that's very personal. And
I look, and I've been trying to confirm that. I can't confirm it. I have no clue.
Yeah. And
look, it's Joey Richardson.
No one knows who that is. And second note to that,
nobody knows who that guy is. That guy's famous.
No one knows or cares who Joe Richardson is. It's probably some bum.
It's not. You don't know who Joe Richardson is?
You
don't know who Joe Richardson is?
If I gave a shit, I still wouldn't know.
Okay.
You know what would be great though if Joe Richardson like fell into a street gutter and then didn't wake up?
Wow.
What?
Wow. Just because he said Byron sucks, huh?
Is that what he says?
That's true. Byron's mom cares a lot.
She doesn't know who he is. If she
knows who he is, because she's on his Facebook, I bet.
She's not on social media.
Don't fuck up the kayfabe, man. Anyway, Byron, you know what I liked more than the pay-per-view?
That thing you used to eat in college.
No, I liked the post pay-per-view scrum.
Do you get the reference?
What reference?
Half-Baked.
Bro, the last time I saw Half-Baked, I was Half-Baked in college.
Yeah, but by now we've seen it enough times where we remember some of it.
This is why you don't see all the other classic movies in the world, because you're still watching Half-Baked.
I watched Killer Clowns recently. I just watched 2 movies last night. I can't tell you the name, but they were awesome.
Now, here's a callback for you. Damn, Byron, I haven't seen that much heat with you since Evie Dub.
Why? What does Evie Dub have against me? We're friends. Friendly.
Mm-hmm. You keep telling yourself that.
He hasn't hired me for anything. I don't know. We work.
The post-media scrum, Byron.
People.
Jay White.
I watched that after the show. It was really great. Jay White.
Amazing. I don't know if Jay White didn't get the memo or didn't care what the memo said. Like when you see those backstage New Japan media scrums, he clearly approached this in that fashion and was more in character in the media scrum than he was on the TV shows or the pay-per-view. It was amazing. It was hilarious.
One of the best, but he's the best post-show promo. That's something if you don't watch New Japan, it's an element of their shows.
So much more than anything he did in the ring. It was amazing. And that's the kind of thing it was like, bro, if you had that moment as a TV bit with him coming in and sitting down in Tony's office because his bosses told him he had to get booked on this AEW crossover thing, if you'd have had him run that gimmick, that would have sold pay-per-views, in my opinion. Like, where was this Jay White in the whole buildup?
He was the AEW version of it. In New Japan, they do those post.
The AEW version where they write this cool thing about he's going to screw over his boy Adam Cole and not give him the shot, and he's not going to get, like, I get it. And I got the segment or whatever. The problem was there was no chance for anyone's personality to come through. Cole, God bless him, was trying his hardest to sell it for everybody involved. He really was. Like, whether you like Adam Cole or not, the dude understands TV. I think he's going to be an asset to AEW because of that. He's completely over. And like, just let the guy go out and work. And they gave, clearly they gave him the cue cards. They gave him the sheet. He knew what was on the rundown. And he was like, all right. And he put that segment on his back in the lead up and tried to really do it. But like, they didn't give Jay White enough time. Hangman, they've convoluted his character and storyline so much at this point that I don't know if Hangman knows what to do with himself out there anymore.
I don't know. I like Hangman. I think he's getting back into a self-doubt mode right now. But Jay White is one of those guys who is, people talk about how he needs to go to WWE, like MJF needs to go to WWE, but then you realize like they are born and bred for the format they are thriving in at the moment. Jay White does these phenomenal no time limit promos in loose situations, like the post-match promo after you win the main event on a New Japan show. You send people home, heel or face, with a promo, and then you go backstage. And like when I watch a Jay White main event, I watch the match, I watch the promo, and then I stay on the stream and watch him do the backstage promo in front of the banner, because those moments of his are those it's not a Miz gimmick, it's a must-see moment in wrestling. And he's announcing stuff and he does stuff, and like if he has a match coming up with someone else, when they're doing it, he walks up like with Ibushi and works a thing, but that it has, like, when you get to TV, especially when you're new to it, even though he has sort of been showing up and he has been doing Impact, to fit a live TV format, it's difficult. You have guys like Punk still going over. William Regal goes over in his first AEW appearance, and it's hard. Maybe he hasn't found it yet to do a live segment or a 3-minute tape with 5 other dudes, or 90-second taped segment with 5 other guys, and get his shit in. But if you just let him be Jay White,
I thought it was great. But again, it's the promoter's responsibility to play to the talent strengths in order to sell more seats and tickets and buys. That's the promoter's responsibility. So look, and if Tony got his buys at the end of the day,
he did.
What I think about the show doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I liked it or not. Tony, if you got your buys, and I was one of them, you got my $50.
You got mine.
And you'll probably get it again for the next one. So look, at that point, you've done your job. But if your job was to make me go and tell somebody else, oh shit, the next time AEW does a New Japan show, you got to watch it. That's where you maybe fell short, because I don't know that I would go out and try to get all of my friends, even though most of them are New Japan fans anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I don't know if I would try to get noobs or casuals to watch something like that.
But now we have, and AEW is really good at doing long-term storytelling when they do it, when they're and focused on it. There's a lot of like, hey, we're going to have a big super match on Wednesday, and we're letting you know on Tuesday, and it's going to be really fun. But there's also like multi-year stories, like the whole Hangman thing, the whole first 4 champions in AEW, Kenny, all this stuff. And New Japan also is just, they've done a lot. And again, they've had some evil booking decisions, but they also do really good long-term storytelling when they are committed, when they're focused, and things don't get in the way. So now groundwork has been laid, and even just based on this show alone, the next one has a history to it. The next one has something. Some people have something to prove. Some people have grudges based on what happened or what have you.
Well, look, there's something to build on. And then I think, the stars that did miss out because of injuries and other things will hopefully be clamoring to also be involved the next time. And hopefully all of our favorites from Japan will still have knees in a year or whenever they bring this back. I mean, I gotta tell you, Tana was okay once he got to the ring, but once again, just watching him walk to the ring, I was like, oh,
big match Tana,
so brutal.
He brought out the guitar.
You have no cartilage in those things. How are you going to run the ropes? And sure enough, they bring the belt, and he's gimping the one side a little bit the whole time, but it didn't slow him down.
Tana is an absolute
He did
legend.
all of the things. Okada too. Okada was like, I was watching Okada and I'm like, bro, you are not a spring chicken anymore. That you're not quite as cut as you were. But man, I got to tell you, again, that fucking media scrum. I love the fact that you get Jay White coming out there, Captain Kayfabe. You got Dax and Cash, just like
chewing the scenery,
sweethearts.
Yeah.
Like, when would you ever think that you would look at a guy like Dax and be like, that dude's a teddy bear? That's like the night, like he starts talking about his mental health and how much he appreciates, and it's so fucking genuine. Like, there's not an ill word coming out of the man's mouth. It's all completely honest. Yeah. He's being brave as shit because he's like, I'm a tough country boy. We're not supposed to do this stuff, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And you're just like, holy shit, that felt like the most personal thing I've seen in wrestling in ages. You got that, and then you've got Okada, who is just like the perfect statesman of wrestling, and so refined and respectful, and his interpreter, and he's saying thank you in the middle of all the questions, right at the exact right spot. And it's just like, dude, how much have you perfected this, bro? And then just to juxtapose all of it, and Thunder Rosa did pretty good. Just to juxtapose all of it, though, you get Mox, who should come out. He should have came out with Chelsea Green's hot mess gimmick at the press conference, because he comes out and he's like, oh yeah, Tony, I want to get this for free. Like, any place else in the world, it would have been like, no, we don't do that, John. Like, that's not okay. And Tony's like, sure, I'll drink one. What? Who cares? Blah blah blah. And I'm just like, oh, you guys have already gone to shit completely.
He comes out like trying to work a business deal. He's completely out of pocket, and he's the one guy in AEW that can do that on a live broadcast with Tony. And then he tried to book a Muta match.
From another promotion. Like, no. And Tony's like, even like, he's the president of Noah, bro. Like,
we just barely did a show with one Japanese company. You're talking about their competitor now.
Tony is looking at a row of all the Japanese businessmen that he's doing business with right in front of him, looking at Mox like, I let you sell the beer, and now you piss off the guys I'm doing business with tonight.
You want to do a match with someone else's champion in Japan?
Oh my God!
But to be fair,
funny.
New Japan just did a show with Noah. New Japan, their new owner, as like a year ago, or whatever, has been doing co-branded shows coming out of COVID to help revitalize interest in wrestling in Japan. So maybe, it's not such a faux pas to talk about.
Yeah, but even Gedo is still kind of a traditionalist in certain regards of how you do business, and God bless Rocky Romero for all the phone calls and all the crap he did, man. People wonder why Rocky Romero gets on so many shows. And dude, Rocky Romero's another guy that, like, I don't know where he finds the time. While he was helping book that show, I saw Rocky Romero on 2 indie shows while he was, here, and then he was in LA, and then he was in New York, and like the dude's doing 3 dates a week, doing stuff in Japan, helping Tony Khan book AEW, wrestling on AEW. Like, Rocky, when do you sleep? But I mean, it's funny because I also feel like it's because
has a question for you.
Rocky
What's
is
next?
not.
Mox wants a match with Chono.
Yeah, he's gonna have a Muta Chono Andrade match in CMLL. for CMLL at Madison Square Garden. And
Dragon Lee.
Stephanie McMahon is the ref.
Triple H will be ringside. He won't do anything. We don't want anything bad to happen. He won't do anything.
Now, so did I tell you what I've kind of heard is going on with Triple H and NXT?
No, what's going on with him?
So the way I heard it was that there is serious talk about him going back over to NXT now. Obviously, Stephanie is running the business side of the company. I don't know that she's getting any opposition from Nick Khan, but it sounds like the deal is that Triple H is not there to turn NXT back into his NXT. It's to basically keep it OVW, and he's going to go and basically super agent, I think is the right term for it. More of an exec, they call their agents producers now at WWE. So to be basically an executive producer or a super agent in helping people with layouts and promos and stuff like that, but not really changing the it is always us Ohio boys, but not really changing the product from it being the 2.0 developmental stable that it is right now. It's not going back to, what NXT was under Triple H was basically king of the indies. It was like the ultimate high-level indie promotion and the third WWE brand. Right now, it's OVW. It is a developmental territory for WWE product, and nothing that happens at NXT will be considered part of canon in WWE. With Triple H's NXT, it was a little more of a line. And you saw with what they did with Cross, where they basically tried to, that was kind of the start of them undoing that line of, from now on, when we bring guys up, whatever you did in NXT never happened. It's not part of our storyline here. They weren't even really acknowledging him as champ, and he was the current champ at that time, and they were having him job out to guys and whatnot. It was like, if you want to come up, then you come up, but your minor league record and anything you did down there has nothing to do with here. It's not a WWE storyline. And that right there was the writing on the wall. But NXT is going to stay the neon NXT 2.0, even if Triple H goes back. So everybody who had from what I understand, everybody who had their hopes up about, Triple H coming back down there and bringing Tommaso Ciampa with him as his champ or whatever, and like trying to bring back the glory days of NXT, that's not happening, guys. It's going to be a big man fest down there. You're lucky you get a couple of great Santos matches every now and then as he helps these other guys out and waits for Rey Mysterio to jump off the horse so he can saddle up as the top Latino star for Vince on the big shows. But they did have Cross wearing the outfit from the movie Spartacus in 300, and we were trying to get Cross on tonight because that is probably the only question I really want to ask him about WWE. I'm not going to get into all his personal business, but I am going to say, I'm going to look Killer Cross right in the mush and say to him, how did you feel about wearing that dress on WWE? I'm going to ask him that question.
I want the link for his
He might kill me. He might kill me. Is it his OnlyFans or is it Scarlett's OnlyFans?
I don't know. They said something about OnlyFans, and then I see on his Instagram, he's sitting on his
what are you going to do? And Rebecca, you're not allowed to answer this question. Rebecca, you can't answer.
Take it easy.
What are you going to do if you log into that OnlyFans and it is Cross just thing, and it's crossness?
So you're expecting a Scarlett OnlyFans, and you pay the money, and you log in, and then you see Killer Cross's package.
What are you going to do, Byron? You gonna scroll down to see if there's something else, or what are you gonna do? You gonna scroll right and see all the pictures? What are you gonna do?
I think we'll cross that bridge when we get there, but the credit card got processed. So.
Oh, see, I said you're not allowed to answer, Rebecca.
Rebecca, take it easy. Keep it PG.
PG. She doesn't have to keep it PG on this show. I just already knew her
Rebecca.
answer.
Okay, you can answer then. Wait, then why are we telling her she can't answer?
Because I wanted to hear your answer. I want to know what you're going to do when you're put in the uncomfortable situation. I know what Rebecca's going to do. Rebecca's going to be like, log on, mother. Click like here, like this. It's going to be good times. All right. Byron.
Yeah. Okay.
Run a commercial.
Okay.
You have to pick one. Which one are you going to run? Run a commercial. You should probably run one for Lucha Central.
What's that?
You're listening to Mats and Mayhem on the Lucha Central Podcast Network, home of...
If you're listening to this and you haven't visited luchacentral.com, it's time to do it. Luchacentral.com is the online home for Lucha Libre, where you can get all of the top news in English and in Spanish. Find the best curated video content and original content not seen anywhere else. Find when Lucha Libre events would be happening in your area. Find photo galleries from top photographers covering Lucha Libre around the world. From weekly polls to annual awards. Seen and read by top executives in all of the major Lucha Libre promotions across the globe. And on top of that, it's free. LuchaCentral.com, your centralized place for all things Lucha Libre.
Lucha, 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 Lucha. All right. I like that one. It's nice and short. It's just long enough for me to grab a water.
Should we upload and run the Kevin Kleinrock interview for Expo Lucha right now?
No. I know it's his birthday, but he never made me the cheese sandwich he promised me. And like, how hard is it to make a cheese sandwich in a microwave?
Yeah, dude.
It's not that hard. Anyway, Slammiversary, I want to talk about. We were supposed to talk about it last week.
Oh, by the way, since we talked about Forbidden Door, before we go to Slammiversary, since it's in the name of the show, let's just answer the question. So we talked about Forbidden Door. Do we think Forbidden Door was better than what Money in the Bank is going to?
No, I was going to close with that. I want to close.
Okay,
with that. We'll come back to it because I do. That. There's a couple of points I want to get to on that, but
we'll just cut that out.
No, we don't have to cut it out. That's not how we do. Was that Miranda? That was Miranda doing that one, right? Miranda does that one, and Denise Salcedo does our open.
Yeah.
Where the music sounds like it was recorded on an 8-track, even though I did that in my recording studio and with hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment.
Let's cut to MMMshow co-host Denise Salcedo.
Hey everyone, it's Denise Salcedo.
Denise Salcedo just said hi to everyone.
Hey everyone. That was good.
Sorry,
I like that.
Wish we had more time for you.
Thanks, Denise. She has excellent questions at those AEW media scrums. Slammiversary. First of all, Ultimate X, Speedball, Mike Bailey.
Oh my God!
Congrats. Look, Slammiversary 20th. It was 20th anniversary. For those who don't know, I know a ton of people aren't following Impact these days, and you don't need to for this. You don't have to tune out. I'm going to kind of catch you up on a few of the things that happened. And I'm not going to run down the whole card, but look, those X Division matches, they're still as good as they always were. Like from back in the day when it was Kazarian and Christopher Daniels and AJ and Samoa Joe. Like, I didn't know half the guys who were in there, but it was still great. And Speedball won it. Speedball, Mike Bailey. That's good booking. I loved it.
What took them so long?
I was very happy with the booking on this show. Speedball's had weird issues, and he's here and there, and he's not ever really tied down to one spot. But like, he's still got time left. He's still got time left in his career to I think come to more people's attention. But the guy's a good wrestler. I like him.
Great. He's about one of the best that's not signed to. No offense, Impact.
Yeah, like I've just never not been entertained. Like the guy's entertaining. So
Hold on.
I love it. What?
Rebecca would PG her ass on the OnlyFans.
Exactly.
Here's something with Speedball, since we're talking about Ring of Honor. When they're doing a pay-per-view, but when they get that TV deal somehow figured out, when it's going to be on the HBO Max app or whatever, Tony Khan has to be looking to sign Speedball for Ring of Honor.
Well, maybe. And I don't know how true it was. I think Speedball
they did.
Got offered a developmental contract, and he had several other outstanding things going on at the time, I believe. And we've talked to other talent about this before. Like Cross was offered a potential developmental contract very early on for him as well. And at this point, he's probably wishing he had taken it, because he probably would have been able to move up and out of NXT onto the main roster before everything changed with Nick Khan coming in. But also, if he hadn't gotten hurt, he probably would have been able to do that as well. Like, there's just, you never know with these things.
But also, those NXT contracts, development contracts, if you're a name on the indies, it's a pay cut. It's a pay cut. So
not necessarily, because
not for Joe.
I don't think that Cross went with. I don't think once he finally got in, he had that same shitty developmental contract. There was kind of two versions of what you could get in NXT, which was the pure developmental version, which was what Cross I know was originally offered, and probably what Speedball was offered. But then there was also better contracts for more established talent that were coming into NXT, but weren't necessarily like some big name to put right on WWE television. Like, yeah, go spend a couple months at NXT, kind of learn our system. We'll slowly get you in the mix, and then we'll bring you up. Yeah. And Cross was definitely on that track from day one when he went in, and you saw it. I mean, they weren't not trying to make him a star. They clearly were. They clearly saw money in the guy. He had plenty of friends in the back. He wasn't having those kind of issues. It was just, I think at the end of the day, him and a lot of our other favorite mid-card people, Tommy End to, Alistair Malachi, whatever the hell he's called nowadays. Those mid-card guys that really couldn't be given any old WWE gimmick that they wanted, and that didn't fit certain things for their current structure, became basically liabilities as commodities to the bottom line of the payroll. I mean, and there's a ton of them. Keith Lee, they
never got Keith Lee, and he never let.
I don't know that they never. I feel like they had glimpses of it and they knew, but again, here's the issues with Tommy and Cross and Keith Lee. I think the biggest problem for WWE is the success in those guys was them doing their indie gimmick. And they're not, none of those three guys are guys that are easy to strap a different gimmick on that a crowd's going to buy quickly.
Right.
And whereas I think they realize this, and this is why they want more unknown talent, because if you don't already know the levels of greatness that they've achieved on a different level, then they're a blank slate and you can do more with them in the WWE system. They couldn't do anything with those guys in that system. They really couldn't. Like, what do you do with Cross? Like, they tried the Gladiator thing. They were trying to get away from the Killer Cross kind of image. That's not what WWE needs right now.
Yeah, but okay. So if we're going to talk about Cross, then and I think on a cursory sort of glance at it, yeah, sure, Cross's name is Killer, even though that it was Carrion, but his gimmick is like a hitman. His gimmick is someone who hurts people, which is not the type of character. They're the Sunday morning, comics or cartoons now, in a way, and so like, what's this guy about? He hurts people. That's no good. He needs to be something, and then we'll put them in a match where people fight, but it's okay or whatever. But Cross, I think, could do something. Cross was always open to being an asset to his employer, and he's very creative, and he would commit. And to be specific, he really, and a lot of people kind of idolized, oh no.
I mean, he was absolutely willing to take their notes and do what they wanted and be involved in the creative process. And, I never heard anything bad about, him going along with whatever they wanted to try. It's just the simple fact of the matter is what they wanted to try wasn't ever going to be as good as what he had already done.
Right. But could you see him embracing more of that Sean O'Hare devil's advocate type character, and becoming more of a personality in that direction, and the matches in wrestling is sort of secondary after that?
Yes, but also absolutely. I could have seen him not wrestle at all and been a talker for them. And been an agent or manager or whatever. Just an on-camera personality. I think they totally could have gone that route. The problem is to get him over, to realize the money and he was going to get more money out of them no matter what. I think they see that coming down the pipeline. They see his contract coming down the road, and it's like, we have two choices with this guy. And I think it was the same with Keith Lee and the same with Malachi. Like, do we think that we can back up the money truck to one of these three guys and see that return in a fashion that fits this current branding? And does that make sense to do that? And Nick Khan's answer was just straight across the board from the middle of the roster. No, you could build all these guys, but why? You've got all these other guys here. We can build some new ones that fit the image exactly down at NXT. Why would we invest this money? Because if you clear enough of that middle part of the roster out, and this is what happens when, corporations merge all the time. You've got a couple of choices. You either stop hiring and gut the top, get rid of a couple of big paychecks and parachute them out, or you gut a ton of the middle, let the leadership at the top take the direction where you want it to go, and get some new people coming up to fill in the middle and go with those new ideas. That's what WWE did. They gutted the middle. No Taya, no Malachi, no Keith Lee, no Cross, like just a shit ton of people. Like that's a Swerve. Like it's endless.
I don't get why they got rid of. I mean, and look, Swerve, but it doesn't.
And a lot of people said, well, that's to Tony Khan's benefit, but also the influx of that awesome middle card from WWE into AEW has been too much too fast. I mean, like, look, I'm happy that Cesaro's there, but oh my God, how many of these guys can they take? How many of these guys can Tony afford to have? I mean, and they're all awesome, but
in it right now, it's helping because of all the injuries. Right before a show, they're able to have people step in and do stuff. But also, yes, something's going to have to happen. This Ring of Honor thing is going to have to shape out and like provide a lot more quality TV hours to fill,
Look,
and that's
Warner Brothers is going to do it. The problem is Warner Brothers is not prepared to do what Tony Khan needs with Ring of Honor for another year. And if he signs another TV deal for Ring of Honor in that year, that's going to piss off Discovery Warner. Like he's in an unfortunate position to have bought Ring of Honor when he did, because I think he's just going to have to sit on it. I think you do some pay-per-views, you do some one-off shows, or maybe you do a deal with Fight TV for weekly or just monthly shows or whatever. You do a $5 thing instead of a premium pay-per-view that's just basically, 2-hour or 3-hour TV, just to keep, the fact that there's a roster there and belts and history moving still, and the fact that he's paying all these people to take a little bit of that burden away. But what is really happening at Discovery Warner is they like the product. It's live sporting. It's a premium live sporting event for them. They love the pay-per-view numbers. They like the buy-in from the TV show. They like the weekly ad sales. They have no issue with wrestling whatsoever. It's working for them. But now they are also reevaluating, and this is for everything. This is for NBA. This is for NHL. This is for NASCAR. This is for all of the stuff that Warner Brothers sports and live event-wise is involved in. They're trying to figure out what their distribution model really looks like. Do they really want to prop all the money into TNT and TBS that they feel might be dying? Do they want to push things to HBO Max? They don't even know yet if they want to merge Discovery Plus and HBO Max, let alone where they want to put premium sports content. And Turner Sports has a whole library of stuff. They already slashed CNN Plus because that didn't really fit their streaming model, and that seemed like money not well spent, and they were correct, I think, to do so. But they've got a lot of higher level stuff to figure out than Tony Khan, which means that poor Tony Khan is stuck sitting on Ring of Honor for a while. And maybe he can find something smaller to do in the meantime, or maybe they say, yeah, we'll give you a Saturday afternoon show on TBS for Ring of Honor. Who knows? But I think that they would rather make the big move with both Ring of Honor and AEW, that you'd see kind of like the Peacock setup where HBO Max becomes, the AEW network. Like they've already got a 3-year library. Where's that library? It's nowhere. They've got the entire Ring of Honor library now,
which is a really big deal.
Right.
And Impact and WWE would be people who would want to license some of it for some of their packages, perhaps.
Look, and here's the thing. You put that library into HBO Max, and honestly, right now is the time to do it. Like,
yeah,
Netflix is not in a great position right now, which is amazing to me. But these other places are starting to catch up. The WWE plan for Peacock actually working. Helped them out a lot. Maybe not as much as what they paid for it, but still helping them out tremendously. And it's become an asset to them. Paramount Plus is now making big moves, and which surprises me because they still haven't incorporated Showtime really and truly. Like they've incorporated all the MTV and BET stuff and Smithsonian and a bunch of their other channels and the CBS news outlets, but somehow they've managed to not have to incorporate their premium content from Showtime, which is amazing to me. That I think they should. But regardless, the moral of the story for Tony is he's got some stuff to do. Let me get back to Slammiversary real quick. Congrats to that one. This one. How do my hand? I can't.
Like your left is your right.
That one. Rosemary.
Yeah.
Her and a certain Valkyrie named Taya. They're the Knockouts tag champs now. And good match.
Rosemary's the shit. So's Taya.
Now, you want to know what was the most surprising match of the night, Byron? I don't know if you watched this thing or not, but this is the match. You're never going to believe what I'm telling you right now, but I'm going to tell you the match to watch.
It wasn't the Speedball.
No. It was Moose versus Sami Callihan.
Okay, Sammy's in it. Did he hit him with a bat?
Yes, with barbed wire.
No.
Moose worked an honest-to-God hardcore match.
Wow.
And it was perfect for his style. Like, I'm watching this the whole time, and all I'm thinking to myself is, oh my God, Moose, why were you not doing this the whole time? You should have been in ECW. You should have been the new Jack. Not trying to portray yourself as like the ultimate athlete in wrestling. That gimmick is whack, but this was amazing. He look, to get himself over, because it's Moose. He legit put his all into a real Sami Callihan hardcore match. More so than that shit he did with Dreamer or Eddie and all. No. Went ham. Totally crazy. He took the most amazing hardcore bumps I've seen in ages.
Which one did he do?
Barbed wire door, barbed wire baseball bat, upright trash can slam on Callihan.
Was he wearing tights?
Craziest shit I've ever seen. Took the trash can, stood it up straight, slammed him off the second turnbuckle onto the top of the trash can. No give. No give at all. It was amazing. I was like, whoa. These two guys, Sami Callihan weighs like 350 now. Moose is a horrible individual and a piece of crap as a wrestler. And I'm sitting there like, this match is great. I love this match. And I've always liked Sami Callihan. I'm kidding about his weight. He's not that big. But he's bigger. He is bigger than he was when he was in Lucha Underground a few years ago.
He on Lucha Underground was when he first took it seriously to get into TV weight.
Yeah.
TV shape,
He's not taking it seriously right now.
But the thing is, around then he figured out he could just wear a padded vest, which first of all is a padded vest.
Okay, but now he's not even wearing a full padded vest. It's like a front cover and a back cover with side straps so he can let it out.
Yeah.
Like my man likes a cheeseburger. It's all good, Sammy. We love you, man. And look, I come from the George Animal Steel era. Like you can look like whatever you want. As long as you can go like that, I'm all for it.
Yeah, good for him.
Let's see what else happened. Anyway, Byron, I'm not even kidding. If you can find that match somewhere, watch that match, and you're gonna be like, "The fuck? this is Moose?
I will. Is Moose in
and Bled too?
Was he in street fight gear or was he in tights?
I think a hybrid. I think it was athletic street fight wear, not like jeans and a t-shirt. It's hard to, I don't remember. I'll have to go back and look now. Maybe I'll go watch it again. Good Brothers defeat the Briscoes, who no one else can put on TV for the third title reign.
Wait, Good Brothers are on Impact again?
Yeah, that's their contract. They're making you know how much Impact pays them? Yeah, they're getting paid like AEW top guys in Impact. Of course, Impact's using them.
So on when Jay White won the championship and Machine Gun Carl Anderson won the Never belt, Carl Anderson got a great backstage after match promo. They're all really great about how like the Machine Gun is a big match guy. He can still go. He only goes when there's like 10,000 people in the crowd, not when there's 200 people.
He just shot on his own promotion that is paying him out the ass. Amazing. Yes. Anyway, so America's Most Wanted came out at the end of that match.
Oh, dope.
And that was nice.
Well, no.
Sorry about your damn luck.
Chris Harris?
Cowboy James. And yeah, they waddled out there and drank some beers. The Impact Originals defeat Honor No More. D'Lo Brown with a frog splash was the highlight. Earl Hebner counts the final pin in honor of his brother. Dave, what's up? His son was the ref of the match. There was a message package, and I kind of want to get into this a little bit, from AJ Styles.
Yeah, well, it was like a anniversary for Impact TNA, right?
But then I saw people talking all this shit about the AEW stars that showed up doing the Cena thing this week, and they were talking about, WWE will take people doing this and this and this, but they'll never let any of their stars do that kind of thing. And I'm like, you guys are idiots. They just let AJ Styles do exactly the same thing the week before. And honestly, I've got no problem with any of it. Like when there's big moments in the business, let somebody say what's up to their buddy who's in a different promotion on their package. They're all famous people. It doesn't hurt or help anyone all that much. It's like, yeah, you saw Chris Jericho pop up on Raw for 20 seconds. Not saying anything about the product, not working an angle or anything, just saying, yeah, Cena, you're great dude. Thanks for making it 20 years and thanks for the house, brother. Like they all made money together. Why not? Same with AJ Styles coming back for the 20th anniversary of Impact. Like he is like, that was the AJ Styles single-handedly was like the reason I watched Impact until fucking Samoa Joe got there. You know, AJ Styles made that show for years. Of course he should come back and say something. That's the thing to do. I was getting disenchanted into a WWE at the time, and to me, the hottest thing in wrestling. And then, Hogan and Bischoff came in and ruined it. Then Hogan got upset about it and blocked me on Twitter because he felt so bad that he was a bad person for a variety of reasons. Look, they certainly had their issues back in the old day. Jarrett was losing his mind. Dixie Carter didn't know how to book. Hulk Hogan was running the show. Vince Russo came in at
the Jarrett Angle stuff. But then
the Hardys somehow revived it. Hardys and Borash actually got them back together, which makes it even more bizarre.
But style, when I think of like what made TNA a show I wanted to watch over WWE any day of the week, it was stuff like the 3-way with Styles, Joe, and Fallen Angel, Chris Daniels. Like that was a match. That was like X Division, but as a heavyweight main event match. And no one else with wrestling TV at the time was touching it. I mean, Ring of Honor was probably a superior product.
I loved some of the early Eric Young stuff too, and Motor City Machine Guns, and Sanjay Dutt even back in the day when he first came in. It was like
America's Most Wanted when they were really hitting it. And then the Machine Guns. The Machine Guns wrestled who?
Even like early Bobby Roode stuff. Robert Roode.
Spanish Announce Table, you got the Fly Novices, all that stuff was fun, but Monty Brown, these guys could still go, and it was an alternative. It was kind of like a bit of the charm that EW sort of has or had at the beginning.
Yeah. It was a solid number 2 for a long time, man.
Yeah.
So. And honestly, a lot of the WWE product at the time, when they didn't have competition anymore, had fallen off. Like Jarrett was totally right. Oh, Jerry Lynn. God. Jerry Lynn's my favorite wrestler, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, oh God. Jerry Lynn versus Rob Van Dam feud in ECW is my favorite feud of all time. Anyway, remember that Triple Mania match where I couldn't figure out the rules?
Byron, there was one specific.
The women's thing.
Yeah.
They had one more complicated in Impact, and I believe they've done this before. It's like their King of the Mountain, Queen of the Mountain in this case thing, where
well, didn't they
it's
do
the most confusing
reverse?
Rules ever. So first of all, it's like a 5-way match, I think, and you have to pin someone to qualify. But when you pin that person, they go into the penalty cage and get locked up for like 3 minutes. But then once you're qualified, you're allowed. That's a reverse ladder match rule where then you're allowed to try to go up the ladder to put the belt up there, not to take it down. You have to climb the ladder and put the belt up there, but only after you qualify, where the ref will give you the belt to make an attempt to put the Oh my God. The most confusing match of all time. If they had 20 minutes to explain all the rules, nobody would have understood.
So that's like a reverse ladder match almost.
But with a qualification and an elimination chamber style penalty box and dude, just the
Team Canada. Yeah.
And Chelsea Green had all the best spots somehow. Took all the worst bumps. Like, Chelsea, haven't you hurt yourself enough? But Jordynne Grace won. She's Queen of the Mountains for the Knockouts title now, and good for her. She's been working very, very, very hard. I still don't know what I think about Jordynne Grace, but I do know one thing about Jordynne Grace. She works really, really fucking hard. So give her some credit, and I'm glad she's getting a run. We'll see what she can do with it. And then EY defeated by Josh Alexander, the walking weapon, to retain his Impact title. I would have loved to have seen EY win, but they gave him a little run with a belt not that long ago. And it's amazing to me that after all this time, and everything that EY's been through, for him to be kind of this seasoned veteran that's been everywhere at this point. I mean, he was in WWE for a while. People don't even really realize that. And he came up and worked his way up through AEW, and he's a friend of the show, but not this one. He came on my other show for me when I was at NFL. It's just awesome to see EY just still in the main event. I love it. He can still go. He's not quite the spring chicken he used to be, but he does. You know what? He reminds me a lot of Hardcore Holly now.
I would say Eric Young is super low key as someone who's much bigger in the business than perceived entertainment business.
Yes.
This guy,
he knows his way around.
Maybe the casual person is like Eric Young had, a couple of matches. He had that fun thing on NXT, and I know that he was a TNA guy before that or something, blah, 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 right? This guy has kind of been a featured player on every wrestling show that he's been on. Like, he's been entertaining in every role that they've had him do.
Bookers love him.
And, but on top of that, not associated with the companies he works for, he's booked himself TV shows on his own that he hosted or starred. Right. And it's not a crossover. You didn't hear about it because it's not a wrestling gimmick. He's not, he does that. He excels in a different entertainment world.
Everybody in LA knew who he was.
Yeah. But like wrestling fans.
And he was not like some huge famous wrestler, and everybody knew who he was.
It's great. Good for him.
Yeah. Again, I was really happy to see him in there. All right. So, to answer the question of this episode, Bayron, what's your question? Now ask me your question.
Oh, do you remember the reverse battle royal?
You're supposed to ask me your question about did what's the name of the show? Did Money in the Bank job to?
Oh no, I have that question too.
Well, ask that question.
Hold on, I have another question. I'm going to text you.
Okay, you can text me this question.
Because this one
is it hot? Is it sexy?
No, it's just strictly a wrestling one.
Oh, those are no good.
But I have a question for you.
The answer is yes.
It's
whatever,
yes.
Man. I don't even know why you're keeping that a secret. You know I'll do whatever Maki Ito says.
Oh yeah, no, she had a really good tweet, but I'm afraid to favorite it. Anyway, my question
sure it's
to you
against
is
my moralities clause in my new contract, but I'm gonna favorite it anyway.
You gotta go to your NFL Twitter account now.
Oh God.
Where it doesn't have the history.
I don't even know how to log into that one anymore. It's just sitting there idle. I don't think I've logged into that.
Did you use your work email address for it? That might be a problem.
Yes, I did. In fact,
oops,
I would have to remember the password.
If you can log in. It's just, here's the thing. Why wouldn't Maki Ito want to talk to a successful podcast host? Which is
why wouldn't she? Because he's a pervert simp? I'm just saying. I mean, if you're asking questions I'm talking about podcast hosts in general.
Yeah, but a successful, like maybe handsome is another word, if that would help. That
I mean, it's a word. I can confirm that is in fact a word.
Accurate
it is a
descriptor.
Different one. I don't know if it's an accurate descriptor. Are you going to ask me the Money in the Bank question?
So we just watched Justin. Hey, Outlaw, I have a question for you.
Hey, Byron, how's it going? What's the question?
So here's my big question for you. If you have the guts to answer it, we just watched the Forbidden Door pay-per-view, highly anticipated Forbidden Door pay-per-view.
Highly anticipated.
Which was a co-promotion between two of the top wrestling companies in the world, not the top wrestling entertainment company in the world, which also has an upcoming pay-per-view, Money in the Bank, WWE Money in the Bank, which may or may not star Cody Rhodes. Wink, wink. And so with these two pay-per-views in the same pay-per-view cycle, we just watched Forbidden Door, which is, let's just say, two number twos teaming together to put on a super show. Is it going to compare to one of the premier WWE Money in the Bank pay-per-view shows, which is coming up?
Maybe. I'll tell you why. That crowd at the United Center kicked ass. WWE will get no such thing. Sorry about your damn luck. Even if they pipe in, no.
Oh, we have a suggestion for your password.
I think since it was the 2019 season, it's actually probably Baker's My Guy. Was probably my password that year. Oh, how wrong I was. My new guy has some serious legal troubles coming. And now they're suing his team too. They're suing the Texans and Deshaun. It's craziness, man. He made 20 of those cases go away, and the 4 that remain are going to kick his ass. He got recommended for a full year suspension. Anyway, that's that. So Browns will go back to Browns never win. So I'll have to log in and change the password for at least one more season. Anyway, yeah. Here's the thing. Forbidden Door, in the grand scheme of things, could end up being the pay-per-view from this, week cycle that people remember over the other one. And I'll tell you why, because that crowd, first of all, and that crowd was also 17,000 strong. Don't forget, Money in the Bank was moved from being a huge stadium show back into an arena, and an arena that is actually smaller than the United Center. So ticket sales wise, they pushed more people into United Center than AEW's ever pushed in there before. They put out more seats. They opened everything up. It was a fucking wall-to-wall sellout, 17-something thousand. I think WWE's max that they can get with all the seats is like 16.8. So, but who knows? I'm sure Vince and his giant ego right now are trying to figure out how he can actually sell more tickets than Forbidden Door did. We'll see.
Right.
That would be another measuring stick where I would say, man, if in the same week, and WWE's got the holiday weekend, if AEW could actually do more attendance at their pay-per-view, like they're not going to do more buys. WWE has Peacock now, and it's an easy. Right. They're going to get more eyeballs. But they might get more in the attendance. Now, work rate. Clearly, the AEW pay-per-view has work rate. So what does the WWE pay-per-view have going into it? I don't know. Storylines.
The exact thing that you were complaining about with
huge names, understanding of angles and things that are going on, and the potential for a huge surprise, which may or may not be considered a surprise. Because in no strange surprise to me, all of a sudden this week, Cody Rhodes was back on WWE TV with a promo about Money in the Bank. Now, they did change the posters, which I thought was hilarious because they changed all the posters this weekend to feature Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch, who hasn't qualified yet to be in a Money in the Bank match. And then throughout the course of Raw, Becky's going to be in a 5-way challenge match to qualify for Money in the Bank. I wonder who's going to win this 25-minute main event that I have to sit through now with 2 commercial breaks. Come on, WWE. I log into my Roku before I even go over to watch Raw on my freaking Spectrum app or whatever, and I see Becky Lynch sitting there with the white briefcase and Seth sitting there with the black briefcase. Am I not going to think that she's going to actually win a slot tonight to be in Money in the Bank?
Card subject to change.
Whatever. And look, it's happened before. They've put people on. Cody was the poster for Money in the Bank for 2 months leading up to it. But I mean, it was really, really it was probably the most obvious, like, ending to, like, I don't mind that it was obvious that it was going to be Becky. I mind it being the main event and it being obvious. Like, give me one match on a 3-hour show that I don't know exactly the ending. Come on, guys. Anyway, but Cody Rhodes appears doing a promo from home in his sling. As you saw his arm, and I saw his arm 2 weeks ago.
He's not in the sling anymore. Everyone knows
no
that.
Bruising.
The only bruising was from the first injury that we saw on the show.
Correct.
Not
and
even
that was all just
surgery.
basically blood under the skin. That had nothing to do with the actual injury. That bruising was not the injury itself. The injury itself was one little tiny area right up here. That incision that you see that he's got, that's it. That's it, folks. Is he cleared to wrestle? That is a question that's up for debate. I do not know the answer to that.
But
will Cody be somehow now? And here's the thing: they haven't worked an angle for him to get some qualification to be in that match. So I don't know how you explain it story wise. But do I think that WWE could pull something off and bring Cody into Money in the Bank in some fashion? Yes. And if not, clearly them having him do a promo this week means that they're going to keep the feud alive for the briefcase with Seth and Cody, that there will still be some more interaction, which was the Byron's prediction many, many weeks ago. So this will be the week that we can see if we were right, if we were wrong, if Cody is actually able to get in there or not. I was not wrong in the fact that I said that they were going to keep Cody's name on TV. They were going to keep him as part of storylines the entire time he was out. So far, there has not been a week that's gone by where they haven't shown a package, referenced him, and specifically referencing him still with Money in the Bank. They're still selling pay-per-views basically on Cody's name.
Yeah. And that's the thing where, I mean, maybe... I think Forbidden Door did a ton of buys. I mean, but to your point, competing with the Peacock app itself, I don't think they can outdo those numbers. But the whole Cody story, if Cody comes back and wins the Money in the Bank briefcase, if Cody comes back and just makes I'm able to fight again type of appearance and segment, that is a story that's being told. The last big chapter of it was already one of the most impactful moments in wrestling in like the past decade, and so this is the next big step of the story.
This
being
would
told.
be even more impactful because that was just a night of surprise, shock, and awe thing. If he comes back, and here's the thing, I get what you're saying, Darkface, and we've kind of talked about this before on this show, but the real question of this is, don't believe what you hear in wrestling about injuries. What
9 months
is the actual risk to Cody in working a match that has several other people, where he'll be highly protected, where he can do the easy end of some big spots like laying on a table and letting somebody jump through him?
And bumping was never a problem with him.
Right. Like what would be bad for that injury, if he actually had a bad version of that injury, which I don't believe he did, would be lifting somebody up for a right-handed body slam, is, doing a right side lariat, certain moves using his right arm for power or impact. Other than that, everything else is fair game. You saw him wrestle with the injury.
Yeah, like what you
the surgery was 3 weeks ago, and the surgery was un poquito.
And by the way,
stitches inside to reattach the muscle. So yeah, the muscle isn't fully healed, but I don't know that doing anything on that muscle is going to cause enough damage that it would be an issue. And even if he re-tears it and he's out, but he comes back and has another big moment, for a guy like Cody, that's probably worth it for him. They can't afford to have him wait until January for the Royal Rumble. They can't.
The
That's
money you're
6-7 months away. And the money they're paying him, the fact that they're out of baby faces, they got a bunch of other part-timers up there, but he's on a full-time contract, and they need to hype SummerSlam. Now, given they'll have John Cena, they'll have some big action from Roman or whatever, but they're not going to get more big Roman action until WrestleMania, when they start bringing The Rock in around Royal Rumble time. And that's not when you bring Cody back. You've already got excitement built in from the brand name of those things. Part of the reason they brought Cody in was to get them through the Monday Night Football days, to get them through the fall, to have a main eventer, to have a baby face around. And even if he's a baby face that can't work weekly, that he's not the wrestle god, there's no reason to not put him on TV and have him do certain things and protect him really, really well, because that you can get storyline out of him.
At the very least, he can come out and throw a crossroads or a chair shot. At the very least, he can do that. And here's
just
the thing,
maybe screw over Seth.
Maybe, or after Seth wins, he could come out and see, like, I have my.
What if he swerves you and he comes out, he makes his triumphant return, he's not in the match, but he starts getting involved and messing with people and helps Seth win. And then turns on Seth later when he's a little bit better for the briefcase, saying, look, I'm the reason you have the briefcase. Now you got to give me a shot at it.
Yeah. And this is the thing, WWE storytelling is very redundant, and it does suck a lot, at least for me, because basically a program is two actors who are in segments together for the duration of the program. And, your TV segments are, let's have the same match over and over again. And they've had like 3 matches, and they've had a promo every single week together, and blah, blah, blah. But these are 2 of the top stars, and they're able to make it more and more interesting each time. So it works now, and it's great. And you don't kind of really focus on the fact that Cody's already beat Seth 3 times. You're really invested in watching him fight the next one. But with regards to Cody's injury, like I had, if you could see the scar, I just had my distal bicep tendon reattached right here. I am in about week 6 6.5, 7. And I have I can't do quick stuff, but I have like full functional mobility, and
that's 10 times the injury that Cody got.
Yeah, and this is like, but I lost my whole bicep.
Yeah.
To it, and so I could, if I were Cody with this injury, I could go out, wear a shirt with sleeves, and look like a star on TV and not look like I just got hurt and sort of kayfabe it up. But I certainly couldn't do certain things which are limited by this specific injury, this specific tendon that tore from this spot with a specific muscle it's attached to. If it tore from the shoulder, it would be something else.
Fake.
Now,
you do have the option to custom tailor things to a specific injury. People have done it throughout the years in wrestling.
But here's the thing. With this injury, I heard it by doing kind of like a tennis swing. I heard it playing hockey, but basically how it's affected is this motion, sort of like twisting tennis. I could do other stuff just fine after I got it hurt, but I couldn't do this. This is when my arm would hurt and why I had to get it fixed. So there's differences, there's redundancies in muscles and tendons everywhere, and ligaments and whatnot. So Cody's thing, you got to look at, you don't judge him or compare him to other wrestlers with a torn pectoral muscle or torn pectoral muscle tendon, because you have to figure out what is the actual thing that is hurt, and then what is that thing actually limiting, because then you get into like what you said, the body. Okay, so like what can
it's the top of the pec. If you watch WWE TV, you can see where the little bandage was and the incision that's left there. It's just the top part of his pec. That's it, guys. It's not the breast meat part of the pec that you do heavy lifting with or whatever. It's right in here. So when you're doing motions up in here and here with power, yes, that's a little bit of a problem, because what he was doing, I think, was an incline machine when he tore it. That's it. That's it. There's 10 million ways you can protect that injury in a wrestling match. He just needs to not do any overhead strongman stuff from the right side or take any impact with forward arm motion on the right side. That's it.
When has Cody press slammed someone?
Never.
Oh.
He does a power slam thing that's probably ill-advised.
He does Dustin's power slam.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
He's got a few right side moves that he's got to give up. And I don't know that the crossroads is even the greatest look for that injury, but it's really just kind of holding your arms up and spinning.
No,
and if the other guy knows you've got a weak spot and they're protecting
it's a front face lock. The guy's just in dragon sleeper position.
And it's not like anybody's going to go into business for themselves. Everybody in the match knows that freaking Cody is money in their pockets,
Could you imagine? Someone's like, hey, fuck this guy, and they shoot on him, and then Nick Khan,
I don't know that they would shoot on him, but somebody might go into businesses and they try to get in a bigger spot than they should on the injured superstar guy. And that kind of stuff has happened before, but
and they forget that he can't do.
But I think I'm pretty sure they would make it very, very clear in the match layout. Like, that's the kind of thing that happens 2 weeks down the road when somebody's performing on an injury and somebody forgets and does the wrong move or whatever. It's happened before.
Yeah.
Look, I would say that right now, realistically speaking, I think there's a 40% chance that you see Cody Rhodes in the Money in the Bank ladder match.
I think 100% on the show in the segment.
I don't know if he shows up there or not. I don't know. I think 100% that he'll be back before Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
I think 90% that he's going to feud with Seth over the briefcase. And 40% of me believes that they're going with the plan that was always the plan, which was Cody and Rhodes wins Money in the Bank.
Yeah. I think
so. We'll see.
I think,
and maybe somewhere in the middle of that is him just showing up and doing something at the pay-per-view.
If he shows up and does like a stare down or something. But I think so. Like Forbidden Door, really the big and kind of only big main event thing that was planned and promoted was Mox Tanahashi, and I think that was a big deal. I also think that was like a big deal.
But I honestly think that people are going to remember Ospreay Cassidy more. I think that's the match that people are going to walk away saying, "Hey, you remember the first Forbidden Door?" And people are going to be like, "Oh yeah, the one with Ospreay and Orange Cassidy." I don't think they're going to say, "Oh yeah, the one with Mox Tana."
Right. Well, I mean, I don't know about that, but I mean, I do think like there is an element of there's just a lot of people, a lot of American TV wrestling fans who are finally seeing what Ospreay can do, which is great. But then, I think there's a lot of great elements and memorable moments of Forbidden Door. But as far as like story, memorable for the ages, what's going to stick with you? I still think it comes down to the title, the long-awaited Mox Tanahashi, because that also might be the last or one of the few last big matches for Tanahashi. Oh, he showed up and he performed, but like he's been used to get he jobbed Zack Sabre Jr. and Jay White for like years to get them over. He's a great company man.
Realistically,
and he's also broken down.
New Japan needs to really start building some more top tier guys that are not necessarily foreigners. They need some more Japanese top guys.
It's been frustrating because long term you have Shibata fall out, and then Sonata is flirting with it, but he doesn't really have it to go to the next level. He's great for what he is, but still they don't have him. He's almost turning into Goto, unfortunately. I don't know. Evil was a bust. Evil is a tremendous mid-card bruiser.
Top mid-card too. But yeah,
but what they were doing with him and Dick Togo in the main events, that's too much.
Yeah, like you tell me 4 years from now, who are the 4 pillars of New Japan? That's a hard question, isn't it?
So yeah, because like there was before COVID, there was a new generation. There was Shingo and Ospreay coming up, right? Which makes sense. I think they were earning it, but things kind of got muddied up. Ibushi should be up there. I don't know what's going on, but I'm willing to like.
And nobody really feels like Jay White's a long-term option, right? Ospreay maybe, but not Jay White. You think he's a long-term option?
Jay White, as far as I'm concerned, is New Japan born and bred, and I don't think he would ever really give up on him because that's the perfect place for him. If he gets tired,
if he can get to the level where he's worth them backing up the money truck like they did with Kenny, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, he's their top guy, and he's not even 30. I think he's well more of an asset than Ospreay.
What's he making?
I don't know what he's making.
I guarantee he's not getting what Kenny was getting those last 4 years when he kept doing yearly contracts and extending yearly.
Yeah, but Kenny was at a different stage in his career at that point. I think Jay White is
Kenny
regarded.
could have walked in the door at WWE at that point in time, any one of those years, and he would have been the biggest thing in WWE overnight.
Yeah.
Jay White's not quite there yet, so I don't imagine he's getting that kind of money, but that also means that he would be easier to lure away at some point. And I don't think that, that Tony would ever steal him unless his contract was legit up and he was trying to walk away from New Japan.
I don't think Tony needs to, but I also think that Tony gets enough of him. He has his Bullet Club adjacent thing. He has his Adam Cole, which Adam Cole's, great for a TV talent. I think Jay White has exactly what he wants and needs, and he'll continue to keep excelling in the New Japan format. And then he gets to come and do some American TV every now and then with AEW. It's great for him.
Okay, so in 4 years, who are the 4 pillars? It's Jay White, Ospreay, and who?
I would say Jay White, Ibushi if he comes back, if everything's good. So Ibushi's going to be up there. You have Jay White. You have Shingo, Ospreay. I mean, I think you kind of have one foreigner. I don't know if you have Jay White and Ospreay, but
I also don't think Okada is necessarily going to relinquish his pillar anytime soon, whether he's in his prime or not. He's still young enough that he can stick around and gum up the works for another 5 or 10 years.
So you're gonna have Okada, you'll have Ibushi.
It ain't gonna be his best matches, though. I can tell you that right now.
I don't know. I mean, but he comes and goes. Like he had a bad back for a year, you know. But also, like, I don't think this Forbidden Door show was a big show for Okada.
No, not at all.
So we didn't really get that. And he's in a 4-way match. That doesn't mean anything to him, and it shouldn't. It really shouldn't. It's like
I think that's
Naito
part of
wrestling
why
a
it was
tag match
booked
in a
that
t-shirt.
way. I think that was part of why it was booked that way. Like if Okada's going to do this, it either has to be the top thing or it has to seem completely inconsequential.
Yeah.
I don't think him or New Japan, and I don't think Edo would go for it either. Like I think that was pretty much your only option to get Okada in there. He's not going to tag. That wouldn't work either. Like that, I think that was the perfect solution. Honestly, you get him on the show. American fans get to see him. He goes a little bit. It doesn't feel like any kind of big deal that he loses. Whatever, you know.
So yeah, but when Ibushi won the title, and then you have Ospreay and Shingo working their way up in the heavyweight division, I really think they were ushering in sort of a new style, and that kind of got hammed up. And Evil was champ for a minute and stuff. But like, I really think the future is like Ibushi. And Jay White also kind of felt on the outside with this because he was very much like old guard, but he was the age and tenure of the new guard. But you have Ibushi, Shingo, Ospreay, Jay White are all like new guard options. Jay White is just he's got it. He's already there, and he's going to be there. I would say he's going to put in the reign that Okada and Tanahashi have. Naito is still around 4 years. I think Naito will still be around.
Naito's going to be good TV, but I don't know if you put him in the top dog slot.
Why? Because they all do tag matches almost all year round.
Well, true.
You know,
as long as you can go in those couple of 3 big ones every year. All right. So here's the
so anyway. So what I was saying though, I didn't mean to go all the way into New Japan. I just think like what's going to stick with you story wise, which is really the lasting aspect of these shows, is Mox and Tanahashi. And I think if Cody does come back and gets in that match and wins, that moment, not even that story, that continuation of the story will be a bigger and more historical impact than Forbidden Door.
It is literally the biggest thing that you could do in wrestling this year until Rock versus Roman.
Who cares?
It's huge. It's huge because it will resonate into the wrestling lore and history books of everyone. Mm-hmm. Like, look, Mox Tana, it's in there, but is it in everyone's book? It's certainly in your book. It's mostly, a few pages of mine. It's in Dave Meltzer's book, but you do the Cody thing, that's going to hits everybody. It hits everybody if they can pull it off. And believe you me, the only reason I think it doesn't happen is if Nick Khan keeps it from happening because he doesn't know wrestling well enough. Anybody who knows wrestling that's sitting back there at WWE right now is taking a real hard look at, man, Cody, I don't know. This is kind of risky, but also it's the kind of risky that is like guaranteed money in the bank.
Cody needs to wrestle how many matches? 2, 3 matches the rest of the year, honestly?
Yeah, that's it.
Not TV segments. He has to compete and win 2 to 3 more matches this whole year.
Yeah, Dark Ace, I should say, the general talk backstage is that Roman will not have either belt when he wrestles The Rock, which there's still some issues with. I don't know if that's 100% yet. I just know that is 100% what they want to happen and what they're planning to do. I don't know that everything's been ironed out yet. I believe he's going to slowly drop both of them, and it's going to be, the storyline will be Rock questioning his leadership of the head of the table or whatever. And basically it'll be a match for head of the table, where I believe that Rocky will lay down for Roman and let him get his heat. And then you'll start to see Roman as a part-timer after that, because Roman is very much looking to work 1 or 2 more years with a medium schedule and then go to the Brock schedule, because he feels like he's earned that. And that's kind of what you're allowed to do these days. And then if he wants to do a bigger comeback, he can, but he went pretty hard for 5-6 months, and everyone at WWE seems to really appreciate what he's been doing. And now he's getting a little bit of a respite, which I think is funny, because he does all the work to get both the belts. And then he's on TV all the time. He's doing both shows, this, that, and the other thing. Then you finally put both belts on him. He's the representative of both shows. And then that's when they don't have any time left on him to put him on TV every week. It's kind of ass backwards, but it's all that WWE has, unless they want to blow the whole budget on Roman, like they've done in the past with Brock a few times. Brock's days were out, and they were like, that's nice. We need Brock for TV. Let's pay him a shit ton of money to come do 16 more episodes. Maybe they'll do some of that for Roman, but I don't even think he wants it. I think he wants to slow down the schedule. They'll take the belts off him. I believe he's going to drop one to Randy at SummerSlam. And then I don't know what he's going to do with the other one.
Is Randy actually hurt, or was that a gimmick?
The plan, I have not heard that the plan changed for Randy to drop, or for him to drop to Randy at SummerSlam. So I think that Randy does have legit injuries, but also he's on a part-timer contract too, and they used the shit out of him for a long time. So now they got to let him rest. And unfortunately, they're doing the same with Edge right now. And they kind of hot-shotted that thing when Cena came back and said that he wanted to work Austin Theory, and that changed the plans for working Cena with Edge at SummerSlam. So now Cena's working Austin Theory. He might be. It just depends. I think Roman still drops at SummerSlam, though. One of the belts. But they're not going to do Riddle, so maybe they get Drew McIntyre back in the mix somehow. I don't know. They're putting a lot on Lashley right now, but I don't think Lashley taking it from Roman is a very good story. I don't think that's big enough for SummerSlam for them.
Yeah. I mean, if we're going to nitpick, Lashley kind of he runs different types of programs.
Yeah, and he's got his uses for WWE too, and like they can do stuff with him, but right now they kind of have to do a slower build and protect him a little bit. But he's coming out of the Austin Theory feud now, because Cena's going to slowly take that over. Though he's going to work limited, so maybe Lashley stays in that. So, but yeah, Theory Cena for SummerSlam, I believe, is still definitely going to happen. And if Randy really can't come back, and that's not a work, I don't know who he drops to. But I think he's going to drop the Raw title at SummerSlam, which
they're
is
not together.
Universal. Is that right?
I thought they were finally.
No, he's not going to put them both up.
He's
not going to put up both belts.
I thought they were put together, and they were getting rid of the brand split to make their TV stronger and more focused.
We'll see. I think they're still going to keep them both and unify the tag belts. We'll see. Somebody
Young
takes
Bucks,
one off them.
WWE Tag Champs.
Oh, God. Please stop. Anyway, I don't have anything else to say. Byron, do you have anything else to say?
What's MLW doing?
What's MLW doing? Yeah, so until next time, stay calm and stay in the mix. Penis.